Hello and welcome back to the Jet Press Podcast. My name is Justin Fried. That's Mike Luciano. The Jets, I don't even want to call them a bad football team. I feel like that doesn't do it justice, Mike. We're here recapping the Jets' Week 8 loss to the New England Patriots. I'm apathetic if you haven't gotten that at this point. And as I already saw somebody said in chat, as Brandon said in chat, already going to chat here because what else we're going to talk about? Let's not give the performance in the field the attention it deserves. The Jets clearly don't care. Maybe the next regime can take advantage of the draft picks after the fire sale. I'm kind of with you. Why care? Why should we care, Mike? Why should any of us care about this football team? Because I don't. When the Patriots scored that last touchdown to win the game, I laughed. I didn't care. I wasn't upset because it was painfully obvious if you watch that game how this was going to end. We've seen the Jets before. We've seen them do this time and time again this year. They find ways to lose games. We have seen really bad Jets teams over the years. We saw a 2-win team with Adam Gase. We've seen some Rich Kotite years. I mean, I didn't, but Jets fans have seen those years. We've seen some terrible Jets teams. This one is special, Mike, because it takes a special collection of players and coaches to turn a roster with a Hall of Fame quarterback with about 10 guys who've made a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro team within the last 2 years, and to turn that team into a bottom 5 team, and that's generous. A bottom 5 team in the NFL. Maybe worse, probably worse at this stage. I mean, they just lost to a supposed bottom 3 team in the Patriots. One without their starting quarterback because Drake May got hurt. If Drake May was in this game, probably not even close because they're a significantly better team with Drake May. I don't even want to get into specifics. I don't know what we fucking talk about, Mike, but all I know is the Jets are a horrific football team, and they're not worth my time. They're not worth your time. They're not worth any of our time and energy. Just tear it down. Unplug it. Don't plug it back in. Burn the organization to the ground. Do what you have to do because this team, this New York Jets, whatever we want to call them, it's not working. And it's broken, I think, to a permanent degree.
Yet each man kills the thing he loves. Here we are again. Well, Oscar Wilde quote to start you off.
Okay. Dude, really quick. Has there ever been a more same old Jets season than this season? And I hate that.
I don't even want to put this in same old Jets. This is the level of Titanic catastrophe that this is. This isn't same old Jets. Same old Jets was parts of last year, like the end of Rex, the end of Todd Bowles. That was same old Jet. I don't even know what this is. This is advanced shithousery from football. I've never seen this. I've never seen in all my years of watching football a team this talented with this amount of expectations.
Yeah.
Didn't have a major quarterback injury die like this. This is insanity. They're not worth your time. They're only worth your time insofar as you are watching the Jet Press podcast because they're worth your time for that. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. And on YouTube, we are really close, guys, to 1,000 subscribers. And once you hit that milestone, it's really big for YouTube in terms of just the monetization of it. And we can start running ads at that point. So once we get to 1,000, that's huge. We're right there now. So if you want to support this show and give us something positive, then that's a way to do it. Just hit that little subscribe button and then we get close to 1,000. Thank you so much, everybody who's tuning in. We'll turn the bullhorn over to you guys soon, but this one just defies all odds. We always talk about how every week it's something new, about how, a couple weeks ago with Minnesota, Darnold went 14 of 31. The defense was great.
Yep.
And they lost. And before that, it was Denver, Greg Zuerlein missing the kicks. Then it was Buffalo. Aaron Rodgers plays great. More Zuerlein missing the kicks. Nobody can stop Josh Allen. Then defense starts out pretty good. Aaron Rodgers is terrible. They lose to the Steelers. Now, I think, by and large, I thought he was pretty okay. Like, I don't have any major complaints with his performance. I think it was solid, above average quarterback play for most of it. Still didn't matter.
Yep.
This team this term gets overused a lot because a lot of times announcers, analysts, whatever, just can't find the words. It's never been more apropos than this. This team is quit.
Oh, absolutely.
They have quit everybody on this team right now, whether they're going to be with the Jets next year or not, because some of these guys are going to be back. Some of these guys should be back. Very few of them, but some of them should. Maybe 6 or 7 on the entire team should be back next year. They are just trying to get their stats up so that when contract time comes, they get more money. That is what this team is at this point, because we said the season was over last week, and it was. Now it's for sure over. So there's no threat of competing for a playoff spot. It's going to be 14 years in a row of no playoffs. Aaron Rodgers, this whole experiment's been a bust. Devontae Adams, they might as well trade Devontae Adams again. There's no point keeping Devontae Adams. Haason Reddick, I didn't even see Haason Reddick on the field.
No, I think he had one pressure.
I'm surprised he had the one.
Yeah.
Maybe I attributed that to Will McDonald. I completely missed that. The running game was okay.
It was good. Brees had a good game.
I didn't see any major. They had one really bad offensive line mess up, but I think by and large, offensive line was okay. Losers again.
We shouldn't even be talking about the.
By the way, everybody who wanted Salah gone. You happy now? You happy now?
I mean, the team was already.
This is what you wanted, right? Ulbricht's going to provide a spark. Ulbricht, I don't know if they fired interim coach before the end of the year. He might. He might, and not trying to be hot takey. He might.
No,
I think there's a good chance Jeff Ulbrich is not coaching the Jets in Week 18.
Right, because if they don't win this game, Mike, what game are they going to win?
This was the layup game against the quarterback, because May, who looked like a world beater before he got hurt, Brissett comes in. You'd already beat the hell out of Jacoby Brissett.
We shouldn't even be sitting here talking about X's and O's and schematics with this. This is it. The Jets are so much better on paper than the Patriots. And this is it's not only a Patriots being bad, it's the Patriots being completely obliterated by injuries and being bad. And they've also not even been a great coach team this year. They've been bad in every possible way. They lost 6 in a row after week 1. They got blown out by the Jets the last time they played them. We should not be sitting here talking about, Aaron Rodgers did this, the offensive line did. This should have been a slaughter. It should not have been close. At the half, they were winning again. They were leading 13-7. They should have been up by more because the Jets continuously find ways to not score points, but they should have been up by more. And then they went into the second half with an opportunity to slam the door. They get the ball to start the half. And what do? I'm pretty sure they went 3 and out. They had an opportunity to slam
and then the Patriots scored immediately.
And then the Patriots
that punt return. Because now special teams are bad too.
What a horrible day for the Jets special teams. And it goes beyond Zerline, who I don't think it needs to be said. I don't think he will be on the roster tomorrow.
Well, it's almost like, what's the point at this point? You missed your chance.
By the way,
let him kick at this point. Who cares?
Jeff Ulbrich was asked after the game if he regrets keeping Greg Zerline as the kicker. Obviously, you know what he's going to say. He said, "I do not." We know he does.
I fucking
do.
If you're going to, I know there's media speak. If you're just going to straight up lie, and bullshit, that is a lie.
Jeff Ulbrich is
straight up. If you're going to do that, Robert Saleh at least had coach speaky things that we didn't like. That is a straight up lie because he thinks we're stupid. He thinks that's going to make people happy. So he's probably stupid. He thinks that answer is going to make people happy. And by the way, since I was just curious, looking at Jeff Ulbrich, without Robert Saleh, I forgot about this. He was a DC in Atlanta before that. Go look at how bad his defenses were in Atlanta.
It wasn't great.
It was horrible.
And it's
and what do you know? Since Saleh's been fired, the Jets have given up. They've just been getting gashed on defense. I mean, it doesn't even look like the same unit. Since they fired Saleh, so that's now 3 games, 23, 37. 25. And the 25 came with Jacoby Brissett and 1/4 of Drake May. Saleh, not only schematically was he better, I don't know why people used to give him crap for not motivating the guy. They had some sort of energy with Saleh. The defense, maybe to a fault, they were too energetic. There were always personal foul penalties. They had too much energy. They look dead as a doornail right now.
Dead all game. It started that way. I was saying that.
That was after a week of being called out by internally and externally for being dead.
Yep.
What is Ulbrich talking about?
Jeff Olber can get on that podium and say this is not who we are as much as he wants.
Yes, it is.
This is exactly who the Jets are, and it might even be worse. Like we might be underselling how bad they are. Garrett in the chat said, "Who is number 39? He needs to retire." That's referring to undrafted rookie safety Jarius Monroe, and I highlight this comment because he missed that potential sack on Jacoby Brissett on one of the last plays where it was the completion to Kayshon Boutte. And I bring this up because I want to go through as many ways as we can possibly go through on how the Jets found ways to lose this game. I mean, even going back to the first half, they missed an opportunity to score at the half because they ran out of timeouts. Because
in the first quarter,
they had to call all 3 timeouts in the first quarter,
including 2 of them. One was out of a timeout, if I'm not mistaken.
One was, and one of them, Olbrich called the timeout, and the Jets still got the playoff, but he still called the timeout.
And one of them looked like Rodgers was pissed because it looked like Rodgers kind of had him where they want him, and then that got negated because Olbrich called the timeout.
So and then they missed an opportunity to score at the end of the half because the Patriots just fold and give up. They have the ball with 2 minutes to go, in their own territory, 2 timeouts, and they're like, "We're just going to run the ball. We're just going to run it to the half because the Jets can't call any timeouts." So the Jets don't have an opportunity, even though they make a defensive stand, to then score points. What happens? They also make a bad decision to kick a field goal as Mike drops out. They kick a field goal on 4th and inches inside the 15-yard line, despite the fact that they're averaging like 5 yards per carry in this game. They had already converted on short yardage like 3 or 4 times in this game. They were running well against the worst run defense in the NFL. And they kick a field goal to give themselves a 2-point lead. That's one of the worst coaching analytical decisions I've seen from a Jets coach in so long. And yes, it did end up costing them in this game because then they score a touchdown and they try to go for 2. What happens, Mike? Delay of game, another delay of game, and then they knock further back. And then
this is making me think less of Kyle Shanahan. If he believes that Jeff Olbrich is a good coach, we didn't know what percentage of the defense was solid in Olbrich. I'm willing to go as far as 99% now.
I don't even know.
What did Olbrich do? This guy is – I've never seen an interim coach outside of Jeff Saturday, who won his first game, more – in over his skis.
Yeah.
I mean, immediately, he's in over his skis. Look, I can't see any room for improvement with this guy. A complete 0. Saleh looks like Bill Walsh compared to Olbrich.
Look, I will defend Jeff Olbrich to a degree here.
I won't.
I will point out that he was calling defensive plays when Saleh was still there. So it's not like he wasn't calling plays. He was the play caller, and the defense was really good. Very good. Even last year he was calling plays. He's been calling plays. He's now being asked to do all of that and be a head coach and make all these decisions. He's been given way too much on his plate. There are way too many responsibilities on his plate. I still think he's a good defensive coordinator. I don't think anything that's happened the last few weeks has proven that anything like that to me. What it's proven is that firing Robert Saleh was obviously the wrong decision. Again, I don't necessarily think anything has changed with this Jets season if they don't fire Robert Saleh. I don't even know if they win another game with Saleh. Maybe they win 1 or 2 of these games. They're probably finishing with 7-8 wins with Saleh. The issues, first of all, Saleh was part of the issues, and the issues extend well beyond Saleh.
But he's clearly, even if you didn't like Saleh, if you had like a power ranking of who's the biggest problem with the Jets, you got to retroactively knock him down a couple things. I mean,
clearly this made it worse. Clearly this made it significantly worse firing Saleh. But they find creative ways. As I'm saying again on the 2-point try, which again, that cost them the game, them not picking up that 2-point try. They get the delay of game, and then there's an immediate blocking breakdown. The entire left side of the offensive line, I don't know if they missed their blocks or what. It looked like some sort of breakdown in protection, and they have to quickly fire what almost looked like a wide receiver mid-screen to Mike Williams. What are we doing? And then the other, I believe, I might have been on that same drive. The Jets had, or it was the drive where Greg Zuerlein misses the 44-yard field goal. You have a 3rd and manageable situation. Aaron Rodgers facing a 4-man rush by the Patriots. 4-man rush. They don't even blitz. All 3 interior offensive linemen block the same guy, and then there's a free rusher. All 3. The 2 tackles blocked a guy. All 3 interior linemen blocked the same.
They blocked the same guy.
Same guy, and then a linebacker blitzes free up the middle and sacks Aaron Rodgers, forcing a Greg Zuerlein field goal that he misses. This is what we mean when we say they find ways to lose. It's always at the perfect time that these breakdowns happen, that these missteps happen. They missed an extra point. They missed the 44-yarder. You cannot. I'm selling it short. I'm forgetting all the ways, and not to mention that last drive where they have the Patriots in 3rd and long, I think 3 different times, and they still can't stop them because the Jets don't know how to contain a QB rush because Jeff Ulbrich is clearly in over his head as a play caller and as a head coach. I mean, they find ways to lose, Mike. That's what makes this team so special. They're so
and there's no quick fix.
There's no fix. You can't fix this. I don't even want to propose fixes. On our Wednesday show, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about, maybe Leonard Taylor should be starting over Javon Kinlaw. Fuck that. I don't care.
It won't matter. One iota.
It is not. Malachi Corley should play more. Maybe make Izzy Abanikanda active. I don't care. I don't care, Mike.
It won't matter. That's the best part.
Not even matters. You want to get rid of Greg Zuerlein? Bring in whoever the fuck off the street. Bring back Sergio Castillo. Remember him? Bring back.
No, I don't. I thought you made that up.
Sam Vedvik,
Sam Vedvik. Sam Ficken, you're thinking of.
Kari Vedvik, Chandler Catanzaro, Jay Feely. I don't care. It's not going to matter. The Jets suck.
Weatherford is not walking through that door.
Oh my God. I said I didn't care at the beginning, and now I'm worked up, and now I care. All right, man. Honestly, I care as a Jets fan, but I care as a fan of football because there were some really fun football games that happened today. There were some really, really cool comebacks. I mean, the Browns stunned the Ravens. That was awesome. There was some really fun football. The Jaguars came back. The Cardinals won in dramatic fashion. And we didn't get to watch any of that bullshit. We didn't get to watch any of it because we had to watch this. Because we had to watch this garbage, this disgusting display of football.
Let's go to the comments right now because maybe you guys can do it better than me. Brandon R. rephrasing our earlier point. There is no team out there, just a collection of players who are either trying to get theirs or are just tapped out.
Yep.
Zach, he means, was easy to blame. Let's just keep doing that. It's not.
I
can't do it.
Zach Wilson sucks. He's a terrible quarterback, Spencer. He's a terrible quarterback. But guess what? The Jets are also a terrible football team. 2 things can be true at once.
Tanner Binstock, I'm serious. As a lifelong Jets fan, is it okay to switch fan base?
Yes.
Totally.
For your own mental health.
Totally. If that makes you feel better, of course.
Just don't be like a Patriots fan. That'd be like sacrilege.
Brian Sternbeck, imagine a fan base thinking their team would get better after firing its coach 5 games into a season. Oh, wait, that was this fan base.
A 2-3 team that had just lost by 6 points to the best team in the NFL.
It drives you crazy. Michael Bolds, fire sale. Yeah.
Dude, trade Devontae Adams. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, what's the point in keeping? He's not even going to be here next year because
Exactly.
Rodgers is probably going to leave.
He's clearly not going to be on the team next year because Rodgers won't be at this stage. So trade Devontae Adams, trade Haason Reddick, trade Mike Williams, trade them all. Anybody on a 1-year trade Tyler Conklin. I don't care. Trade everybody.
Spencer Green, don't switch fan bases. Just know it's going to be beautiful someday. No, it won't.
It
won't.
We've been saying that for 14 years, Spencer. Jets fans who have been around longer have been saying it for even longer. 14 years without a playoff appearance. This year they had Super Bowl expectations, and they're 2-6.
Garrett Goodlander, for the love of God, why is Michael Clemens still playing? Who cares?
Right. I agree with you.
Who cares?
Who's better? Is Eric
Blake
Watts
Brady McGregor more? Okay, fine. Awesome.
Is Eric also? That was a really shitty roughing call on Michael Clemens. That was
it was.
That was a bad call.
Brian Sternbeck, Robert Saleh is laughing right now. His Packers won today too, by the way.
Yep, he's living the life, man.
He's fine. He's gonna have a job in 2 seconds when he wants a coordinator job. He's gonna have a job immediately.
Honestly,
he might get another head coaching job soon.
We're looking at this the wrong way, Mike. The Jets made the right decision firing Robert Saleh for Robert Saleh. They did him a favor. I like Robert Saleh. He seems like a wonderful.
He's a nice guy.
I don't want him to have to sit through this. He would obviously, at this point, he would have been fired regardless if they were 2-6 with him anyway. But they got him out of there before it got real bad. So good on the Jets. They did him a favor. That's charity.
Michael Bolds. Also, Sauce needs to install a tackling machine in every place he spends time. I mean, tackling was never going to be what you got Sauce for, was the coverage, but not his best game.
No, it's not.
Anthony Moratore, bench Rodgers. They're not going to do that.
No, but it doesn't matter. Do you want to see Tyrod Taylor play games with the Jets? because I don't.
You think he's better than Rodgers? No.
No, and
He's
it doesn't, like, if the Jets are out of it, who cares? Like, sure, if it was Jordan Travis, I mean, not that they're going to bench Rodgers, but I could get behind, like, say, hey, let's see what he can do, right? I don't care what Tyrod Taylor can do. He's like 35. I don't care.
My Chan, so glad Rodgers sucks. Go, Pat, go. Really, that guy did all that for you, and you're happy he sucks now?
He also, like, he doesn't suck, but I will say, as someone who's defended Rodgers a lot, it's become increasingly apparent that there are very real limitations with him as a quarterback at this stage. He's incredibly immobile. He is also beaten up and clearly playing hurt, and that really has hindered his mobility. And he's afraid. He has happy feet. He's afraid to throw it over the middle of the field. That one completion to Tyler Conklin, where it was wide open, there was nobody near him. I was stunned. I jumped out of my chair because I'm like, oh my God, they completed an intermediate pass that was not a back shoulder throw. Because it's the only intermediate pass Aaron Rodgers feels comfortable throwing. So he doesn't suck, but there are clear limitations. And he's killing them with the delay of games. Killing them, dude. And that's him. Clearly, it wasn't a Nathaniel Hackett issue. We tried to maybe blame it on him. Is it also Todd Downing? Honestly, maybe. It might. They might both just be really bad. But the common denominator here is Aaron Rodgers. And I put this out on Twitter as a joke, mostly. Conspiracy theory. What if Rodgers is doing this intentionally because he hates pre-snap motion? And this is his way of getting the Jets to just not use pre-snap motion. Because he's like, look, we can't get the playoff in time if we're using the pre-snap motion. Guys, we just can't do it. Maybe that's what it is.
Marcelo Cabrera, what's next? I don't know. More losses in the short term.
Dude.
They're probably drafting a quarterback next year. So get familiar with Cam Ward and Shadur and Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck and all those guys.
If I know this team well, which I feel like I do, you know they're going to win some games, though, Mike. You know what's going to happen. It's going to be the same, similar concept as last year, where they're going to go on a run, maybe win 2 of 3 games. They're going to win some games late in the year. I'm gonna be.
I don't even think they could do that after.
I think that because they're so talented, eventually they're gonna get lucky and they're gonna win a couple of games.
That's what we've been saying for a month.
No, because it still matters now, Mike. You're not understanding. These games technically still matter. Once it doesn't matter at all and it's completely over, then maybe they'll luck into a few wins and they'll hurt their draft stock and they'll get like the 10th pick again. That's honestly the most likely scenario that I see happening. And then I'll be rooting against the Jets once again on Christmas Eve like we did last year. And I'll be told I'm a bad fan for rooting against the Jets. As if this is going to do anything, them winning these games late in the year.
Bob P., if New England's receivers would have caught the ball, they would have won by 14 or more points. Yes, the Jets got lucky that it was that close.
Yeah.
There were multiple big drops, including your boy Kendrick Bourne had a couple big
ones. He did have a bad drop. And the Patriots are bad. Like, they have an excuse. Their offensive line, they're using I think this is their 7th different starting offensive line combination this year. Their quarterback got hurt. One of their top receivers was hurt. They were missing a ton of players on defense. I mean, Christian Barmore has already been out. Kyle Duggar, no Josh Uche, I mean, half the defense was hurt. And they still won. We
got more from AJ. How have they gotten seemingly so much worse with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback? I don't know.
Great mystery.
If you know the answer, there's a job as Jets GM waiting for you. If you know the answer to that question.
Yep. It's the great mystery.
Because it defies all.
The Jets do not abide by the concept of logic. They've never heard of that. That principle does not exist in the New York Jets organization. They live in their own world of misery and dysfunction. They create their own rules to that world, and logic does not exist in that realm. It just does not exist.
Brian Sternbeck, the Commanders and Bears were so much fun with their rookie quarterbacks. Jets already tried that. Zach Wilson didn't work.
No, but he's right. I'm sad because I want to enjoy that as a football fan, and I get to sometimes. But when the Jets play at 1:00 and I miss all the 1:00 games because I have to watch this bullshit, I'm pissed. Makes me mad.
Gregory Freeman, the patron saint of Malachi Corley. Malachi was in on one play to block, and they throw the ball to Ruckert.
He was in there a few times.
Just ass backwards.
Yeah, I agree. That is pretty funny. He was in there a few times, and he actually held up well as a pass blocker, which is really funny. But yeah, apparently they drafted Malachi Corley to be their blocking specialist because every time he was out there, he was either pass blocking or run blocking. I don't know if he ran a route. I don't remember him running a route.
I don't think he did either.
Yeah.
Why... Gregory, again, this is what listening to Aaron Rodgers gets you. It's not even that at this point.
In some ways, yes.
It's not, like, I guess big scale maybe, but like, did Aaron Rodgers tell him to keep Greg Zuerlein?
No. Did Aaron Rodgers?
Did Aaron Rodgers direct the Jets to fire Robert Saleh? I don't think so.
Did Aaron Rodgers keep Keith Carter employed? I don't
know.
We know of. It'd be weird if he did.
Did he give Tyron Smith that contract? No.
Tyron Smith, I thought, was all right in this game.
Yeah, he was okay, but
granted, against the Patriots defense with a ton of guys out, but still.
Let's go logo. Rodgers is washed. Look, he looked okay today.
We talked about it before. He has limitations as a quarterback. He's not. I mean, he's washed compared to what he was. He has his limitations at this stage, and I have tempered my expectations for him moving forward. Again, not that it matters, but I think he's going to be comfortably in that 15 to 20 range for most of this year, which, whatever, man. Shouldn't be 2-6 with that.
Lucas, why is Breece Hall constantly taken off the field when averaging 7.5 per carry in the first half?
Great question.
Of all the weeks to get Braylon Allen involved.
Awesome question. I was screaming that for I was screaming to get Breece the ball, man. I was saying that to people I was watching the game with. I was saying it on Twitter. Like I don't know why, because Breece looked very good in this game, and this is again an abysmal run defense, a terrible run defense. I actually want to see Rodgers threw the ball 28 times. That's not crazy, but boy, I mean there were times where look at this. Breece Hall 16 carries, 80 yards. Braylon Allen 12 carries, 32 yards. I don't know why Braylon Allen was getting leaned on as much as he was specifically in this game.
Well, I guess maybe they went into the week saying we got to feature Braylon more, and they didn't read the game flow at all. And then,
dude, Haason Reddick, smartest guy out there, because he refused to talk to the media this past week when he knew it would be a huge story. He finally just talked to the media, as Mike dropped out again. Finally talked to the media today because he knew it would get lost in all the shuffle of the Jets' misery and Jets.
He's so gone. He's
talking to the media. No one's going to care about what he says now because there's so many other bigger storylines.
He's so gone. What a waste. Yannick Gordon, does Joe Douglas get fired for his coaching staff?
He's going to be, yeah.
He's gonna. There's no way at this point.
I know we said when the Saleh firing happened that it sounded like there was a good chance Douglas was kept regardless of whether they made the playoffs or not. Not at this point, dude. Not at this point. And it's justifiable. Like, I don't care, man. You're 2-6 at this point. As much as I have liked the process for a lot of what Joe Douglas has done, the results have been an unmitigated disaster. And at a certain point, the results have to matter. And we've definitely reached that point.
I believe he's now 29-65 as a executive.
Something like that.
Most executives don't get that long. We're already turning the page. AJ, please don't draft Shedeur Sanders. And then Michael Bold, let's start the Cam Ward conversations.
Oh, I'm sorry, by the way. Reddick actually no commented the questions he was asked about his whole.
So he specifically went out of his way to say no comment. I hate this guy so much.
He refused to talk about the holdout. He no commented his way through the interview. That's unbelievable.
That's
actually amazing. Because you don't have to no comment. You could just be like, I'm happy to be with the team right now. Like you can literally just coach speak, player speak your way through it, say generic comments. He just refused to talk about it. Not that it matters. Again, it doesn't matter, but goddamn, dude, like, come on.
This is,
and I feel like we're so player friendly too. Like we are so, at least I try to be very mindful of like, look, these guys are human beings. Like I feel like I'm very pro player, but dude, the way he's handled this is embarrassing. It's been very embarrassing.
Marcelo Cabrera, why are we comparing to other teams? This is the first time ever, TBH. The disappointment is unmatched. I mean, yeah, it's not just that they're not going to make the playoffs, but to go out like this, against these teams they're playing, we've had Aaron Rodgers for a year and a half of games. I know we got hurt, but a year and a half where he's been on the roster. The best thing he's done is beat Will Levis. Will Levis choked, and they were like 10 yards away from beating him anyway.
The season is over before November, and they have had I would say a pretty easy schedule, not like a crazy hard. They've had a couple of tough games. I mean, that Niners game looks a little bit less hard now, although they've had a lot of injuries since then. The Vikings game was difficult, but I mean, they played the Titans, they played the Broncos, they played the Patriots twice, and they won 2 games. They won twice.
And one of the wins was against one of the only 2 teams with a worse record, than the Jets, Tennessee. Yep. Gregory Freeman, this is why Green Bay was more than happy to trade that guy.
Again, it is so dumb and just simplistic to look at this entire totality, look at the Jets at 2-6 and be like, oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers sucks. Like it extends so far beyond Rodgers, and we've talked about Rodgers. You can have a nuanced discussion about Rodgers, saying that he is a shell of what he once was and is not a. I would not call him an above-average quarterback by any means at this stage. You can have that conversation while also acknowledging that the fact that they're 2-6 is not because Aaron Rodgers just sucks. Like it's nothing to do with that, or it's not nothing to do with that, but it's clearly not just that.
This is getting preposterous.
It's just misery. Like or not even misery. It's apathy. Like I don't care what happens the rest of the season. I don't. They could blow out the Texans by 30.
Oh, I forgot we got the Texans
in a few days, Mike. That's Halloween. Get ready.
Oh no!
You thought this was scary? Wait till the Jets play on prime time again.
They have more primetime games after that, by the way. I think they play on Monday night again.
Flex them out.
They're playing the Colts. That's getting flexed immediately.
That's on Sunday night, right? Because that's getting flexed out for sure.
Anthony Richardson going 6 of 52 throwing the ball. Michael Bowles, you made a mistake getting rid of JFM and Woods. Yeah, but again, even if he kept them, like
JFM definitely. Woods, no.
Yeah, but what are they going to be 5-3 with them?
I don't know. I've seen a couple people say that about Al Woods. Al Woods is 34, coming off a torn Achilles, and he wasn't even particularly good last year before the Achilles. You're thinking Al Woods would be making – I don't think Al Woods is an NFL caliber player at this stage. He's not on a roster for a reason. He might retire. Like, I think he's probably done in the NFL.
I thought
they didn't make a mistake. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's done. Like, they did not make a mistake not bringing back Al Woods. JFM, yeah, absolutely. They made a mistake not bringing back
But again, even if they keep him, I don't think they wouldn't have won any extra games this year. I don't think with JFM.
Probably not. They would have found another. JFM would have had like a big strip sack at the end of a game, and then they would have missed a field goal or something. They would have found a new way to lose that game too.
He would have been going for like a fumble return and then fumbled on the fumble return.
Yeah, or something. Or he would have had an amazing strip sack, and then they'd call him for roughing the passer. Like
illegal formation or something. Lined up offsides.
Yeah.
Lucas, where do we even go from here? Feels like absolutely nowhere to go. Just rip it all apart. That's probably what's going to happen.
Exactly. You rip it all apart.
Because a new guy's going to come in here and say, I'm going to do things my way. And none of you guys are my guys. So
that now opens up everything. Because now, like, legitimately everything is on the table. Whatever the new regime wants, because it's going to be a new GM at this stage. It's going to be a new coaching staff. Almost definitely a new quarterback. You're going to have to make some decisions on some big players' contracts in a few years, in literally a year or two. So you're going to be looking at Breece Hall. You're going to be looking at Sauce Gardner. You're looking at Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, whoever. And you're going to have to make decisions on those guys. And I'm not sure, because it's, Joe Douglas is the guy who drafted them. I'm not sure how many of those guys will end up sticking around. I'd like to believe you keep around, guys like Sauce Gardner, even though he's having a down year by his standards. He's still a great player. Garrett Wilson is still a great player. Breece Hall has been very good, but running backs, who knows? The Jets are going to have to make some really interesting decisions with a lot of their young talent. But yeah, as far as the veteran talent in this roster is concerned, you tear it all down, you start over, you draft a new quarterback. Hopefully you have a high enough pick to do it. I mean, right now, this quarterback class isn't even looking that great. It is. I think this quarterback class's stock has really fallen over the last month or so, or month and a half, because it was looking like a pretty decent class.
I wasn't good coming. I would argue the opposite. I would beforehand. Really? It was regarded as a terrible class.
Really?
And now it's like still bad, but not.
I mean, look at guys like Carson Beck. His stock has fallen.
Yeah, but Cam Ward's has risen, so he just fills it. Shadur's been stable. Ewers has been stable.
Sure. Shador.
Milrose risen. Nussmeier's risen.
Milrose risen a little. Garrett Nussmeier's, he's been the guy who's kind of like come out of nowhere a little bit this year. I'm with you there. But Beck's stock
probably going to be 6 in the first 3 rounds this year.
First 3 maybe, but in the first, like in the top 10, how many are picked at this stage? 2?
Cam Ward, I think, is 1.
Maybe, and it's also still early for that. And I don't know, man. Cam Ward's scary.
Cam and Shadur are the 2 locks, and then I think one of either Beck or Ewers or Milrow, one of those 3. And then
I'm not taking Beck in the first round right now unless we see more from him in the second half of this year. I'm not taking.
He's the traits guy still. Gregory Freeman. This was never the right plan, so you trade for a 40-year-old quarterback.
The Bucs signed a 40-year-old quarterback, and it was the right plan.
The Broncos signed a 37-year-old quarterback off neck surgery, and it was the right plan.
Right. It stop trying to minimize everything. Like it's.
And in the moment, like everybody was like, remember the other options we were talking about?
What's hilarious?
It was Derek Carr.
Yeah.
That was the other like big name was Carr, and then he left before the Rodgers trade. Went to the Saints, so that didn't work.
Yeah.
We talked about Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Like washed Ryan Tannehill, and then we talked about drafting a quarterback They picked 11 that year, so Richardson, who doesn't look good either, he was gone. Stroud was gone. Young was gone, who looks terrible too. So the option would have then been Will Levis. So those are basically the three options we have, other than Rodgers: Derek Carr, Tannehill, and Will Levis.
In hindsight, you know who would have been the right decision, Mike? Obviously, it would have been
Darnold, but
well, I would say Baker Mayfield.
Well, Baker Mayfield, yeah, but I don't think Baker
Mayfield
was right when.
No, obviously they never would have made that decision, but that was right. You know, the Bucks. That was when the Bucks signed him, and he's now put two. I was wrong about Baker, by the way, because I was calling him a Dave Canales merchant. He's still good.
Dave Canales was a Baker Mayfield merchant.
Maybe
look at how Carolina's looking.
Maybe, but I mean, dude, that roster is just so bad too. It's so bad. I didn't think Canales was ready for a head coaching job too. I was surprised that he got that opportunity.
Doug McAdams, too much talent, so vanilla, no creativity, old line, old and weak. Effing win already. Make a field goal.
I mean, they're not even old. The tackles are old, but the interior is not. Tittman's in his second year. ABT's on a rookie contract, and John Simpson is 26. They're not old. Then I mean, the tackles are old, yes.
Brandon R. Maybe JJ, Jermaine Johnson, and Garrett Wilson are staying. Brees is gone. Sauce is not gone.
I think of all the four, Jermaine Johnson is the least likely to return after.
Jermaine Johnson is the least likely to stay, and Sauce is the most likely to stay.
Sauce is the most likely to stay. I would put it in order of Sauce, Garrett, Brees, Johnson.
Yeah.
Garrett, because wide receiver contracts are crazy. But I mean, hey, at least they don't have any guaranteed money to Devontae Adams after this year. So wonderful use of a third-round pick that they just set on fire. But I guess they did that with the Malachi Corley pick anyway.
Mid-round picks in the Jets are always...
the Joe Douglas has managed to light 3 third-round picks on fire in the span of less than 12 months because he traded a third-round pick for Haason Reddick, used the third-round pick on Malachi Corley, and then traded another third-round pick for Devontae Adams. All 3 of those third-round picks just completely...
And in the moment, none of those moves look like bad deals in the moment.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's the messed up part.
Even the Adams trade was like, all right, well, they're trying to compete, obviously, so...
And then we got Ben Barnoski. I liked it better when we were bad, but we all just thought it was Zach Wilson's fault. I mean, it was easier, It was easier. And they were better last year.
They were better.
They had a better defense.
They obviously had a worse quarterback, worse quarterback play. Anybody trying to argue that, they were better with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson was significantly worse in every possible way than any quarterback play that the Jets have received this year. And it's not just Zach Wilson. Every quarterback the Jets played last year was significant. So it's not just like, it's only Zach Wilson. Yeah, it's Trevor Siemian. It's Tim Boyle. But yeah, it's that collection of quarterbacks that the Jets had last year. Obviously significantly worse than anything they've gotten this year.
2 more I want to end with. Josh Carr talking about quarterbacks after week 8 is wild. What else do we have? We can't talk about the playoffs.
Talking about draft position in October.
You want to talk about Aaron Rodgers again? You want to bring him back?
I don't know what our midweek show is going to be on Wednesday, but it's not going to be talking about this year. I can already almost guarantee you that.
Because what else is there left to talk about this year?
It's not. It's going to be talking about trades. That's what it's going to be. We'll probably do trade deadline talk because the trade deadline's in a week from Tuesday. And the Jets have a lot of players that they could potentially sell now, especially if they are donezo. But also at the same time, Mike, you got to think conflict of interest because Joe Douglas, he's not going to be here next year. The Jets can't fire Sale because their own general manager, it would work against his own interests. So as much as we want to sit here and say, yeah, trade Morgan Moses, trade Tyler Conklin, trade Mike Williams. Mike Williams is the only guy who it makes sense that they're probably going to still trade. They're not trading Haason Reddick. They're not going to trade Devontae Adams, obviously, even though they should, because Joe Douglas wants to still try and win. Because unless they fire him, and whoever assumes his responsibility, I mean, unless whoever takes his responsibilities is Woody Johnson, they're not going to fire Sale because they're not going to be here next year anyway. The Jets are in such a terrible position to sell their team, to sell right now.
And then we got one last one from Marcelo Cabrera. You're the GM. Are you bringing in a veteran quarterback or drafting one?
I'm doing both.
Well, I guess they have Tyrod already, but
Tyrod, I believe, is under contract next year. I think they can get out of it. But sure, bring back Tyrod, draft a guy. Or if you don't want to bring back Tyrod, you want to bring in an actual because look, I like Tyrod Taylor. He's not a starting caliber quarterback. If you want to bring in a guy who can actually be a bridge, sure. I don't know who's going to be available at this stage. I mean, who knows what's Derek Carr's contract situation going to look like in the offseason? Maybe he's that bridge quarterback.
He's just got so much guaranteed money though with the Saints.
I don't know if he's going to end up shaking free, but if he is free on the market, sure, man, sign him.
Devontae would probably stick if that happens.
What'd you say? Devontae. Oh, God, you're right. No. Never mind. Don't bring in Derek Carr. I don't want Devontae Adams in this team next year. I just get no. You don't need to be devoting money to Devontae Adams at this stage. Like, if you're not going to, because they're not going to win next year.
So it's going to be 15 years of no playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, well, this was the year, Mike. If they were going to make the playoffs,
the last year I think might have been the year, and then this is
sure. Well, the last 2 years with Aaron Rodgers were the year to make the playoffs. After they missed on Darnold, obviously not entirely Darnold's fault. They missed on developing him, and then they missed on Zach Wilson. This was the time to make the playoffs. Now they're going to have to rebuild. I mean, they can't fully rebuild because they have enough young talent on the roster to not be the worst team in the league. But they're going to retool, and they're not going to go into next year with playoff expectations. So, yeah, realistically, we're looking at a decade and a half of no playoffs until we're at least talking about a potential postseason contender again. That's the state of the New York Jets. That's where we are now.
Welcome to hell.
That's where we are.
Welcome to hell. We're going to wrap it up there because I think we're out of words, and we don't want to just keep rephrasing things. Jets are bad.
Yep.
They've been bad pretty much our whole lives outside of 2 years.
Yep.
They're going to be bad again this year. They're probably going to be bad next year unless they just draft a CJ Stroud and then it fixes everything, which I don't think they're going to do because they've never done that ever. God damn it. I'm like how most people like on these streams, like normally like you're more mad early on and then you become apathetic.
Yeah.
I was the other way. I think I was more apathetic last week. This week I'm more mad, I think, but less at the Jets, just more at like fate. It's like, when is it our turn? When does it work for the Jets? When does it get to work? It never gets to work.
I was apathetic at the start of the stream, and then I got mad, and now I'm apathetic again. But I got mad because the Jets are like I didn't get mad because the Jets are bad. I got mad because the Jets are bad, and I can't enjoy football because of them. That's why.
This is contractually obligated, mandatory fun that we have here with these watching these Jets here. So
we joke around. It's obviously still a privilege to be able to do this, but
yes, it is. But I mean, in terms of like we have to watch the Jets specifically.
Yeah, specifically the Jets. Like
if we didn't have to, like I don't know, we'd probably watch. Green Bay Jacksonville went down on the last play. We could have watched that.
Mike, I know something.
Houston Indy was like a 3-point game. We could have watched that.
Yep, those some great
Eagles look good.
I have something that'll cheer you up though, Mike.
This better be the most cheery, happy, smiley, zippity doodah thing I've ever heard.
It's not. It's on the screen.
Well, thank you, AJC.
You got another one for president, man. Come on, man. Election day is coming next week. What's going on?
You're not campaigning well enough, Justin. You're polling really bad in Michigan. So.
I guess I don't know where AJC's from, but I gotta go to wherever AJC's from. I gotta campaign in that state because clearly I'm losing out right now, man. I don't know what's going on.
I'm polling well in Michigan because I was a Robert Saleh supporter and he's from Michigan. So
was I not a Robert Saleh supporter?
I feel like I was.
Where was Carl Lawson? Where's Carl Lawson from? Because I was a Carl Lawson.
He's from Texas. Texas or Alabama?
Georgia. Yo,
Georgia. Oh yeah.
Key swing state.
Not even close.
Key swing state right there. Come on, baby. I'm winning Georgia. Let's go.
All right. All right. So thank you guys for tuning into the Jet Press podcast.
Brian, you're right. It's my Wi-Fi. That's what it is. I got to get better Wi-Fi. If I was really committed to winning this race, I'd get better Wi-Fi.
So, little PSA, you know where to find us on all the podcast platforms, and make sure you hit that subscribe button because we are so close to 1,000. Justin, any final words on this?
He said, if you're a Mets fan, you'll get me to lean your way. Hey, okay, listen, I grew up a Mets fan. My family's Mets fans. I don't really follow baseball anymore, but I hate the Yankees, and I root for the Mets casually because I like them to do well because I like my family and friends to be happy. So if that suffices enough, maybe I can get the vote. But yeah, man, Jets are bad. I don't know what we're gonna say. We'll talk on Wednesday about how bad they are and what is the plan moving forward, and we'll regroup and try and gather our thoughts. But
the season's not even half over, Justin.
It's not even November, dude. It's not even November. They're
probably October 27th. They're probably the year they were supposed to be in the Super Bowl. Justin, not a month ago.
Yeah.
A month ago.
They're probably gonna be 2-7 before November.
A month ago. God.
There it goes. And that's why I'm not going to be president, because of what just happened there. Anyway, until next time, until Wednesday, thank you all for joining us on the show today. You can follow Mike on Twitter at @ByMikeLuciano. Follow me on Twitter at @JustinTFreed. Follow the Jet Press at the Jet Press. Download the Jet Press podcast wherever you get your podcast. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe, like, hit that notification bell. You guys know what to do. We stream live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and live immediately following every single Jets game. Thank you all for listening to Jet Press Podcast. I've been Justin Freed. That's been Mike Luciano. We will see you guys on Wednesday.
If we make it to Wednesday, because after watching that, I don't know at this point, man.